We're going to start out by looking at some goddess figurines from the ancient world, centered around Siberia and the Middle East. This particular figurine is well known. It's the Venus of Willendorf, and it's approximately 30,000 BC. And you'll notice that this bulbous head here actually doesn't have a face on it, but it does have scabs or bumps all around the head right here, which is very reminiscent of the Amanita muscaria mushroom. She looks very much like a Amanita muscaria mushroom goddess, and see why. Here we can see the Venus of Willendorf again, and here are some Siberian mammoth Venus figurines. They are made from mammoth tusks, and they are 20,000 BC, approximately 20,000 years old, and they also have a very similar head style with the scabbing appearance on the head right here. And these over here are a little bit thinner, and they're just long stems with caps or heads right here on them with faces. When you look at that and compare that to the Amanita muscaria mushroom, they look very, very similar. So these figurines right here exist in a museum. They are from the Tavarone Valley in Italy from 3300 to 2200 BC. And each of these figures, as you can see, has a mushroom head. And there's a couple extra mushroom heads right here that are just separated from the bodies. And this guy has a mushroom emblazoned on his chest area right here. Now we are looking at a set of Mycenaean bird goddess figurines, and you can see the mushroom cap around the heads on these, and also they all have the gills or striations all along here, which is indicative of the cap of the mushroom, and in this case these caps would be turned upward in their waning phase. And these are stone pillars from Gobekli Tepe from 10,000 BC. Gobekli Tepe, as many people are aware by now, is one of the oldest, probably the oldest civilization discovered. And it's a very early cultural site where we find shrines, bull shrines, and a lot of bull-related symbolism. And right here we can see there's a couple of mushroom-shaped pillars. These giant stones actually do have a mushroom shape to them. And this one does as well. It's a little bit more pronounced on this one actually than it is on this one. Right here on the top of this pillar is a bull. Those are the horns right there. Those are the horns. So this is a bull right here. And there are a couple other animals on here as well. But I just wanted to point out that, you know, here in the oldest civilization we've discovered where people were farming and doing different, you know, raising livestock and attending to things that we consider culture, that we have actually the connection of the mushroom and the bull right here, 10,000 BC. And here's another comparison example. From Gobekli Tepe, 10,000 BC, there are a couple serpents right here that have mushroom heads. There's one right there, and there's another one right there. And we compare that to the serpent with the mushroom head over on the rock glyph from Petroglyph Hill. And then going back to also another one right here that was from North America. Then right here from Anatolia, from Nivali Kori, another site that's almost as old as Gobekli Tepe from 8400 BC. Here's that same type of serpent, and this time it's on the back of a head of a man, and it has the mushroom head. You can also see there's a couple scabs or bumps on the top of this head as well right here. So the fact that the serpent is on the head is very indicative of the brilliance or the enlightenment, the knowledge of the mind that accompanies the magic mushroom and the consumption of mushrooms. From the same part of the world, this is at the Sphinx Gate in Alakahayuk, and this is from 1400 BC. And here we see a couple worshippers, and they are before this pillar right here, which looks like a mushroom, has a mushroom shape. And even more impressive, right next to that, there's a bull right here. So we have the bull complementing this pillar and a couple worshippers, and I don't know what else this pillar could be then, but the mushroom. And here's one of the bull shrines that was excavated from Çatalhöyük in Turkey. This is from 7500 to 5700 BC, and this is just an example of one of the places that you would find in the ancient world where you can see that the bull was a major symbol and a focal point of the religious worship and all the different activities that were occurring at the time. This next scene that we're looking at shows Enki with 2 streams of water erupting from his shoulders, Utu holding his saw sword. Above in the air hovers Inanna. So this is going to be Inanna right here, and this is going to be Utu down here. And here's his saw sword right here. And here are the water streams coming out from Enki right here with the fish. So Enki is also Ea, who is also Awanas, and that is the fish god, the Dagon fish god. So this is also Dagon right here, and Inanna right here. All of these are just mushroom deities. So realistically, when we interpret some of these seals, all we really have to do is try to put them together with the mushroom symbolism that we know is already there. So right here, it looks like there's some possibly mushrooms growing up out of the ground. And down here, it looks like here's a bull, because he's got a couple horns. There's a horn and there's the other horn. And let's see. The skirt that Inanna has right here it's a Sumerian dress. It looks like a stack of mushroom caps. And she's actually standing on just one leg. So if you were to take just this part right here and separate it, you can see a mushroom shape right there in the bottom part, or a stack of mushrooms right here with the stem right there. So Utu is also Shamash, and he is a deity that we see sometimes in the disc, in the wings, and he sometimes holds an arrow. So he's an archer deity sometimes. And in this case, he's got his saw sword. So what is he doing? Well, maybe he's cutting down the mushroom tree right here, possibly. I can't say. But also they have what look like possibly mushroom hats. These, don't have the exact shape, but that's probably what they are. She's got some arrows coming up out of her wings right here, indicative again of the mushrooms. And here's another one that doesn't have a description, so I will just do my best interpreting it. We have the winged disc up here, and there is a character inside the winged disc, which we would assume is probably Utu or Shamash. And below him is the tree of life right here. And there are a couple person on both sides of the tree of life, and we can't really tell what they're doing too well, but they could be taking something off the tree of life. And behind them are the Apkallu, or the 7 sages right here. This is one of the 7 sages. These are also called the Anunnaki, and some people believe or refer to these as the ancient aliens. But these are the 7 sages brought mankind wisdom, knowledge, and the sciences and arts. So that's what they represent, which is very similar to the mushroom. And you'll notice that their wings are both up and down. So they're expressing the mushroom in both its waxing and its waning phase. And that's about what I get from here. They're also holding a situla in their hands, and that's a water vessel for carrying water of life. And the water of life is probably the urine that has been reconsumed for the sacrament purposes. Here are several more images of Astarte, Inanna, or Ishtar, though that just depends on which portion of the Middle East she was located in during what time. There's the Sumer version, there's the Babylonian version, there's the Canaanite version. So here with this one image of Astarte, looks like some of those shaman or sorcerer images we saw before, where they're holding 2 serpents, one in each hand, and in this case, they look much more like mushrooms that she's holding. And of course, somebody is going to say, oh, those are just lotus flowers, but we have to consider that all of these different things, whether it's the lotus flower, the pomegranate, the apple, the rose, the heart, these are all symbols sometimes for the mushroom. So right here she's holding a couple in her hands. Right here she has an arrow in her hand, or a spear, but that's a mushroom right there. And right here she has the typical dress of the Sumer Babylonian style, and it's just a bunch of mushroom caps stacked. But she has one of the earliest forms of the caduceus in her hand, the serpents wrapped around, and the round top right here. And that's actually also a symbol for the mushroom. The symbol that became a symbol for medicine originated from the mushroom. So these are all depictions of the mushroom goddess. In this image, there are several reliefs. The first one is Baal Adad from Syria in the Damascus Museum from 1300 BC. And over here you can see Baal has his horns right here, and there's a circle or an orb above his head. Right here, Baal is holding a thunderbolt or a lightning bolt. So this is, right here is a thunderbolt, and down here is a bull. So Adad is a bull god, and he rides on a storm cloud, and he brings thunderbolts. And that's the symbolism of the mushroom. All of these are different mushroom deities in different ways. Mostly, a lot of them are just storm deities. And right here, from Israel Museum in Jerusalem from 1500 BC, here is a pillar with the bull horns on top. And since you can see the bulls right here, and you can see the bull right here, and you can see the bull right here, we can see that this is not a moon crescent. These are bull horns. There's no reason to believe that this has anything to do with the moon, except maybe the fact that the bull could have been associated with the moon because of the mushroom and the dew. Now, the dew grows according to the moon and is influenced by the moon, and the dew is also thought to influence the mushroom growth. So there could have been a connection in the ancient world between the dew and the mushroom and the bull, and that's why the bull horns might be a double symbolism for the moon. But the moon really doesn't play so much of a role in the religion of the ancient world in the mushroom symbolism as the bull does and the bull horns. So Teshup is a Hittite god, and he's a storm god, and this one is from Ivriz, and this one is from, I'm not sure where this one's from, but it's from 900 to 800 BC. And in both cases, there is a trishula in his hand right here, or that actually is a thunderbolt in this case. So we can see how the trishula looks just like the thunderbolt in some cases. And in this hand, he's got an axe. So he has a thunderbolt in one hand, an axe in the other hand, and he has a sword right here on his waist. The handle of that sword right there looks like a mushroom cap. So here's an instance also right here. His sword looks like a mushroom cap. And the fact that his sword looks like a mushroom cap, that he's holding a thunderbolt, and he has an axe in the other hand, those are all symbols for the mushroom. It was thought that the thunder and the lightning engendered the mushroom growth. The ancients may have either believed that, or that was just tied up in their mythology, but there was a connection between the two, and that was symbolized in this kind of imagery. Here's Utu or Shamash, also Ashur, from 900 to 800 BC, and in this case you can see he's an archer deity, and he's inside the round orb, inside the wings. So you do have the base of the mushroom in his body right down here, and there's the cap of the mushroom, or this is the cap of the mushroom right there. But Utu, being an archer deity, he shoots mushrooms down from the sky during the rainstorms.